We're the Movie Busters, and today we are bringing you a special episode.
Yeah.
Special. It is special.
Yeah, it's
something
very
different.
special. It's a bit unique because it's something that came out a long time ago.
Yeah.
It's not new, but it's a really nice surprise.
Yeah. I remember before we bought it. You were really hesitant
Yeah.
about buying it because we have it. Most of people have it free in each one of the streaming services.
Yeah, you could.
So you were like, well, it is.
I
too-
remember. Yes, I remember. Several of points, very good points in the.
Before a sec, there will be spoilers.
No, I'm not
So-
trying to.
No, there will be
I'm
spoilers
not
down
talking
the
about
road.
the point that just mentioned that. I remember a small thing because it's been a few years.
A lot of years, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think why we should buy it. We could watch it maybe on the streaming services that there is.
Yeah.
But you mentioned that first of all, they are selling a hard copy of it. This is kind of unique.
Yeah, there aren't many.
They that doesn't do it anymore.
And most of the shows that come out today don't have.
and this is
physical
in
media.
4K and in Atmos, and it vision. Vision, I think, I don't know.
I think it has Dolby Vision or HDR, one of them.
So it's the highest quality, and eventually we go for it. You go for it.
Yeah, I was like, I wanna experience the biggest show ever was, the show that changed TV forever. I wanna experience it in the highest quality that I can.
Yeah, like you said, we watch a lot of series today because there's a lot of streaming services that we are exposed today.
Yeah, well, as you know, there are 4 currently big TV shows streaming right now in each of the streaming services. You have House of the Dragon, a Game of Thrones show in HBO. You have Endor, a Star Wars show. You have C on Apple, and you have The Rings of Power on Amazon, and Netflix is always Netflix, so there's always something to watch there. So there are a lot of shows coming out today, but none of them,
No.
and I think not even in the slightest, compares to this masterpiece of a show. First season. I mean,
Yeah, it's
I
the
watched
first
all of the show, and I still
There is
think it is
how
the biggest
much?
show.
10 seasons?
8.
8 seasons. We watch only the first
We
10
only watched the
chapters.
first season, but when you compare this first season to any other show, even though most of them didn't even finish, so I don't want to review them and I don't want to give really thoughts. Maybe it will become better, most of those shows.
Yeah.
I think so. So I don't want to say anything bad about them just yet. I will watch the entire show and then decide for myself if I like it or not. But even when we watched like the first 2 episodes in this show, there were
Not the two, the first.
they were infinitely better than all of those shows
Yeah.
put together, all of their episodes together.
Yeah, this is something that missed in a lot of series that run today. They try to build something, and it's very slow, and sometimes it doesn't get to anywhere. In this one, from the beginning, it catches you. You sit on the chair, you cannot move. You are fascinating with the result. Wait a second. And that's it. You can't leave. And when the chapter is finished after an hour or something, you said, "What? I want to see another one."
Yeah, I gotta see another one.
What-
It can't stop here.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, this show, the stories, particularly the stories, I know how difficult, well, I guess it's really difficult to write a story for a show, and especially when you have like 20 to 30 characters in it, and you need to have each of them a story, and most of them are connected, but not on the same scenes together. So everyone has like, a character has this story and this story and
Yeah.
that
Wait.
story.
Before we go this, I think let's talk about the big event, okay, of the show. This is a huge production, the first and the most huge production for the year that it get out.
Yeah. I remember before this show came out, TV was
Lesser- yeah.
lesser
Then-
media form than movies. It was always like,
You know,
this
always-
show might be like a movie.
It's close to a movie. Never really have a content.
Quality wise
Yeah.
on movie levels. But this show is the one that changed the
So-
scales.
Let's talk about the inside a bit. First of all, the character. They are strong. They are
Interesting.
complicated, branch, and without remorse character. This is something that is very unique to this series, I think. It's that you are absolutely believe that what you're watching is real. There is no second thought. There is no hesitating. Everyone has a place, and you do it as expected to do.
Yeah, and it's something that you told me. When you think about it, it is a fantasy show. But if you take the fantasy elements, there aren't a lot of fantasy elements in the first season. As I said, spoilers, so
Yeah,
you know there are some the
but the
dragon
fantasy
scene
is
and
not
the,
so strong.
and the wall scenes and everything about that. It's
but
fantasy.
it's not a main event.
But what's really strong about this show is the politics, the drama, and the connection between each character and their confrontation between one another.
This is one side. First, the relation between all the characters, all the political connections. Everyone try to guard his interest and represent him to the king as the best way he can.
Yeah.
And of course, the brutality of the show.
It's extremely brutal.
Extremely brutal,
None seen
gory,
before it.
but I think in a good way, because there is no other way. If you think about it, the monarchy that rules Europe was brutal,
yeah.
and this is, I think, the inspired came from.
Yeah, and it's something. Before we get into the show, we're kind of building it and trying to explain why we think this show is so much better than anything else. Before we think about, we didn't even talk about the stories and the characters themselves. We talk about in the grand of it.
Yeah.
But before we get into it, what I love about this show is when you think of fantasy, the first thing that comes to mind is Lord of the Rings by J.R.R. Tolkien.
Yeah.
So how do you make another huge world in fantasy without it comparing and reminiscing of Middle Earth and Tolkien's world?
First thing, you need a very close name.
Well, he did get the name right.
J.R. Martin.
George R.R. Martin, you have J.R.R. Tolkien. So you need to have an R.R. in your name.
Yes.
That's the first thing. That's the first step of making it. But what makes this show so brilliant and makes this world so interesting and so different than Lord of the Rings that they can literally coexist is the main focus here, at least in the first season, because this is like really fresh off my mind. So I don't want to review any other seasons. It does have fantasy in it, but it's really light on fantasy.
Yeah.
The main core and the main idea of this show is politics, drama, and the relationships between the houses and the power of each house.
I think what they are trying to give the audience is, listen, we have some of fantasy, but this is not the main course here.
No.
You wait, you will see fantasy if you like fantasy, but this is not the main event.
Exactly.
They give you in small amount the fantasy stuff.
And that's like, it's
And I like that because
it's really smart because you don't have to be a fantasy lover to love this show.
I don't want to compare anything. Of course, there is a dragons here and just came out of the eggs and very small. There is no rule for them here. Like in the House of the Dragon, think about the first chapter in the House of the Dragon.
And
you see the dragons and they are
they don't have any
flying
story. They don't have any.
and if you not make any, not have a build a story for them,
Yeah,
they are not interesting.
And that's something we can compare. Think about it. In Game of Thrones, in the first season, you only see dragons in the last episode, and you see them like in babies form. but it's so much
In
powerful.
the finish of the 10th.
In the last
yeah.
the last scene. But it's way more powerful than watching two grown adults dragons in the first episode of House of Dragon. Because think
It's the
about it.
first shot.
But think about it. When you watch Game of Thrones, dragons are extinct for like 200 years. So thinking of there might be any dragons is such a huge thought, and you
Yeah.
don't believe it. So when you see dragons, it's like, whoa, Daenerys have dragons now. It changes the scales of
she
power.
revealed that she has something else because she cannot influence by heat.
Yeah,
She can touch fire.
a dragon. She's like a dragon
Yep.
born. But in the House of Dragons, they just show a lot of dragons, but none of them have any really impact on the story. And that's the problem in all of the new.
We promised that we won't compare.
So we won't compare, but
Drop it.
take it for yourself. So now we're going to talk about the show itself.
First of all, the shooting, the sound is beautifully.
Yeah.
It's experience that worth everything.
And if you have a dog that doesn't like horses or horses rattle
Our
it a
dogs,
bit,
our pugs are really like the show because they have horses,
and they have dogs, and they have
barking.
wolves.
Yeah.
So you have the whole package there for a huge success in that.
Let's talk about the actors.
So, the main character in this first season
Yeah.
is Ned Stark, played by Sean Bean,
Yeah.
and he really gets you into this show.
Is this the first? Is the big characters in the first season? I think.
And I think it's such a smart thing that they did
In the beginning,
that they
Yeah.
thought that Sean Bean should lead
they
the first season.
get your intention with him, and by him you start to
Experience the world.
experience the other characters, and you have more confidence with what they represent for you. So you have a lot of fronts.
Yeah, but before you get there, I want to talk about Ned. Why I think Ned is such a perfect protagonist and main character for the first season is
Yeah.
because when you think about it, all of the movies and all of the TV shows that we watched before this, it's always good versus bad, good versus evil, good wins, evil loses.
There's always the good is 100% good and the bad is 100% bad. There's no middle ground.
Exactly. So when you take Ned, who is honest, goes with his truth,
He's a soldier.
He always wants to be. He believes that righteousness and honesty
Yeah. Are the most
are the most important
honorable.
things. Yeah, they are the most honorable, and honor is something that he really admires.
Yeah.
But this show takes it completely different. Honor won't get you anywhere. And when you experience the show from his eyes, and you see everything and everyone betrays him, you understand that this is a different
When the
show.
start politician, the honor, the justice, these qualities, it's not relevant
In this world.
in this world. It's you can compare it to the real world because if you have if you want to get to the political world, it's a different quality that you need.
And that's what I really like about having Sean Bean be the main protagonist, because he's really likable and you understand him and you want to be him. And when he loses eventually, you understand that in this world, you can't be good.
Yeah.
You can't
You
be.
can't be Ned Stark.
You can't be Ned Stark. You need to be cunning. You need to
Yeah.
be sophisticated. You need to be. You need to think outside the box, and that's where all of the great characters, you really start to understand that they have like really
I
great
think
characters.
we are very sorry for this.
Outcome.
Yeah, because we are much.
He is the lovable character.
Yeah,
of the
we
first season.
like more that Ned will start to make
understand.
understand itself, but it cannot be
And
changed.
he's very naive.
Yeah, it's very naive.
He's very naive to this world,
Yeah.
and that's where you really start to understand that this is something different. And you have like characters like Lord Varys and Littlefinger, played by Conleth Hill or Aidan Gillen, who are played brilliantly, and both of those characters are written to perfection.
Yeah.
And they make you understand what the Game of Thrones is. And even Lena Headey as Cersei, she's so cunning, she's so, even though she's pretty and you firstly think of her as like a
She
pretty
married
queen,
to the king,
she's married to Robert.
but the only political marriage. There's not love or whatever between them. She knows he's gonna die, and she wants a son. Joffrey will come after it. She's controlled Joffrey, so
she is a
she is the queen.
mastermind.
She will be the real king of.
Of Westeros, but she's like she's so brilliant.
Yeah.
And when you first start the show, you don't think that she's really that smart. She's like, okay, she's a pretty face.
No.
But as the season goes, you like really start to understand.
She
Okay,
has a real complicated.
she is a bad bit.
Yeah.
You understand what I was trying to say, and she says to Ned something that's really interesting, and one of the quotes that I really like about the show is, when you play the Game of Thrones, you either win or you die. There's no middle ground.
You can't lose and go home.
You either be in King's
Nobody
Landing.
give you a pleasant retirement.
No. You won't get a medal of participation.
Yeah.
You either get the medal that you won or you lost.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting and unique.
One more very good thing I think in this is serious. Think about all the front that we have. Okay.
It's not one more thing that's good, it's one more brilliant thing.
Brilliant, and it's worked wonderfully, and it's super interesting. First, you have Joffrey, and before Joffrey you have the king.
Robert Baratheon.
You think he's the father of Joffrey.
And then you learn
and
truth.
all the problem with Ned Stark, and he wants to be the right king and everything. Second, you have, of course, Jon Snow that going to
the wall.
And all the ideas of the wall, that you go over there and you
And
leave
there
your
are
life behind,
and
you can't be with a woman, you can't marry, you can have family, children, whatever. You always
you're dedicated to the safety
until you're
of
dead. You watch of the wall. You watch of the wall over there. It's very interesting because all the people get it's criminals and low people. They
It's
have the
mostly
opportunity
criminals.
all to cut some of the organs that may.
Yeah, rapists are they either cut them or they sent to the wall, and I don't think anyone wants
stealing
to.
something, whatever. And you have, of course, what you have more? All the
Well, you have Samuel Tarly with him, but when you think about like you have Tyrion with Bronn.
yeah.
Tyrion, played by Peter Dinklage, is one of the huge spotlight of this show.
I think it's something to wow.
Yeah.
I think he discovered
such
over
a
there.
wow factor.
He discovered over there for a star, I think.
He's so. There's nothing much to say other than
He took the part and
to a whole nother level.
completely. He doesn't play the part. He lives the part.
Yeah, exactly. He is the part.
He is the part completely.
I think that's most of the actors in this show. They are so that part. It's really hard to see them as
And
something
of
else.
course, Arya that
You have
ran
Arya,
away after her
played by
father.
Miss Williams, and you have like Sansa's story as well.
Sansa's story with Joffrey.
And you have you have the build up to the second season with Robb Stark and Caitlyn. He's leading.
Yeah.
He becomes the king
to
of the
release
North.
his father. Yeah,
Well,
from
he
the jail.
died, so they want to avenge him.
Yeah.
And you have
Yeah,
Jaime.
I makes them a spoiler. We didn't notice, but
Well,
it's
they,
okay.
they want to avenge him because they know they killed.
Yeah, but you didn't make spoiler now.
No.
Why did you say that Ned Stark is dead?
I said that this video will have spoilers. Don't worry.
I said capture. Capture is enough. That doesn't say execution or dead or something.
I might cut it.
Okay.
But
no, don't cut it. It's
okay. So you have that plot, and then you have Jaime's plot, and then you have Tywin Lannister, who plays by Charles Dance.
yeah. When we say it, it seems kind of boring, but when you watch it, it's super interesting.
Yeah, because if we get into each and every plot thread, I'm not joking, guys, it will be over an hour to 2 hours long video.
Yeah.
And we want to summarize it a bit, and even now it's not that short of a video, and we have some other points we want to talk about. So we just kind of brush it off, but we want to tell you how brilliant each of those stories are.
Every story, there's a lot with it. We mentioned it. Every story, it's important. It's very interesting. It doesn't bore you. Don't get bored by anything. and it's eventually they are all connect to the main story.
The throne.
The throne, of course, but you cannot see it in the not all of the stories are finished in the first season.
No,
They are just beginning. So it's a long
very
road.
intrigued
It's a
of
long
watching,
road
yeah.
that we have to watch and tell you about it. But I think this is a trick. It's very recommended if you can buy it and watch it with the highest quality of sound and vision.
Before I say it, I heard that on HBO Max it is in 4K and might be on Dolby Atmos, but I heard it's not on the same quality. I heard it's really good, but it's not with the same bit rates and stuff like that. So just take it with a grain of salt. If you really want highest quality, there's nothing like physical media.
I think it's a good point. I think it's very good that we bought it, and there is not a lot of
And we are huge
creation like this.
And we're huge physical media fans, as you probably know from well, most of our episodes have a physical
I
media
think
in it.
you don't have to search and run and buy everything. This is maybe not
But you should
the
buy
right idea, but
if you want to buy, I'm not telling you to buy, but if you want,
if you
really
consider,
if you want really high quality and you want to, how do you say, if you want to, like support the creators, because when you think about it, when they release it on this physical form, it is £200, so it's not cheap.
Yeah,
It's
very
about
expensive.
$250 in the US, I think. It's not cheap. But think about it, when you buy it in this form, I do hope so that the producers and the ones that release it understand that it's not cheap, and they understand that they are support of this stuff. We're a huge Lord of the Rings and Star Wars fans, and we have like each edition that came out we had.
from the DVD.
Because we really love it. So I think that if you really love something, you don't need to buy. You don't need like to be a huge physical media fan and have like a huge library of each movie that comes out. I'm not joking. A lot of the movies that come out today are garbage.
I think supporting this is
Supporting
important.
good content shows that there are good faith in physical media and shows that
This
they
is
are
a very good content, and we are promised to continue watch it and report to you.
And before, I want to give a little side bonus, I guess. The introduction scene with Charles Dance, with Tywin, with the entire deer scene.
Yeah, there is one scene that in the Lannister's camp, Lannister's family, all red and everything.
The army tents.
Yeah, the Charles Dance is actually cutting a deer.
Skinning it.
Yeah, skin it, and he talks to his son,
Jaime
Lannister. And you watch it, and I watch it, and I say to you, listen, he's cutting a real deer over
and
there.
I told you, no
And
way.
you said, today it's impossible. You don't.
If you told me this show came out in the 1980s.
You can arm animals and everything, and all the trouble with it. And I said to him, listen, this is a real deer. This is the real thing. You said impossible, and you checked it, and this is a real deer.
It was a real
He
deer.
cut it, and he do his act.
And he's acting brilliantly, and I think it's.
I don't know how he done it, but
he keeps his cool
Yeah.
through the entirety of it.
like
It's
he's
just
done it 100 times
hundreds
before.
of time. It doesn't mind. He doesn't mind it,
Yeah,
and it's huge.
it's make his character
really powerful.
very powerful, very strong. He
And
can
you
be,
kind of
he's
scared of him when you think about
wait
it.
a second. He's intelligent, he's brutal, and he's everything in the same time. And of course, he's a father, he's a head of family, whatever. So I think all these small details in the series, there is a lot of small things that make the character very strong. And in this folk that you watch it on your own, and you can watch everything
On your own
and,
pace as well.
Yeah, and you can watch it and you admire the work that
It connects better.
work here. So
It was really fun
watch
to
it.
make.
If
this
you
video.
not buy it, watch it. Whatever you can watch it
Yeah,
again.
if you have the time and you wanna watch it for the if you haven't watched Game of Thrones, you have to
must.
watch it. And if you watched it already, you should really think of giving it a rewatch. Because considering everything that comes out today, nothing.
I
else
think
compares to
good
it.
stuff. You have to watch it over and over again. There is no way in one time you watch all this. There's a lot of details here.
Yeah, you can't watch.
You
this
remember
entire show.
everything, and I think you watch it again, If you didn't watch it, you will be rewarded.
Extremely surprised.
Yeah.
Because we were surprised with this season, the first season. So, how would you rate the first season from 1 to 10?
For me, it's 10. It's 10.
11!
11. There is no scale.
It can be measured in scale. It's such a huge show.
Yeah.
Brilliant. And I do hope that more shows walk the same path that this show did.
I wish. We
So,
wish.
Thank you very much for watching.